Modern sports is obsessed with billionaire ownership. We watch tycoons buy up struggling clubs, attempting to spend their way into a dynasty. These bottomless transfer budgets are often seen as the only way to secure a legacy. But the longest-running project began with a single player's departure thousands of years ago. In the Chaldean Premier League, a seasoned pro named Abraham was dominating the pitch at his boyhood club in Ur. He was a franchise cornerstone. He had a massive contract, perfect dressing room chemistry, and a tactical system he'd mastered over a lifetime. He had no logical reason to look for a move. History-altering dominance begins when a player is willing to walk away from that level of security. It requires a mentality that values the manager's long-term project over immediate comfort. Without warning, the gaffer, the architect of the game, issued a transfer order that defied every standard of the sport. He told his star player to pack his kit and leave. Intense, analytical stress. The manager demanded a total geographical reset. Abraham was to move his entire operation into the Canaan division. The terms were punishing. Build a franchise from scratch on an unseen pitch, facing hostile away fans and zero local support. In exchange for this risk, the gaffer made a promise. If Abraham executed the vision, the eventual fan base would outnumber the stars in the sky. Most players would have called their agents to block the move. Abraham signed the papers. He chose to treat the manager's unproven tactical vision as a finished reality. The rebuild hit a mid-season slump almost immediately. The team struggled through high-pressure away fixtures in Egypt just to keep the project alive. But the core crisis was structural. The youth academy was barren, and the star players were aging out of the league. This chart tracks age against XG, expected generations, measuring the probability of producing an heir. The projection drops, eventually sitting at 0. The project is mathematically dead. Fearing failure, Sarah engineered a panic loan. She brought in Hagar to produce a makeshift heir, Ishmael. Ishmael was a strong physical presence, but he didn't fit the gaffer's specific positional profile. The dressing room became toxic as internal rivalries fractured the squad. The attempt to bypass the manager's timeline introduced a friction the project couldn't recover from. By trying to force a result, they had nearly sabotaged the entire franchise. Right at the end of regulation time, when the pundits had already written the obituary for the Abraham era, the project finally delivered. Isaac was born. He was the exact prospect the gaffer had scouted, the number 10 capable of carrying the franchise forward for generations. Just as the club reached stability, the manager issued his most confusing tactical instruction yet, the Mount Moriah fixture. The command was to take that single, irreplaceable prospect and sacrifice him, to effectively delete the future of the franchise by hand. The manager was asking his captain to destroy the very asset he had spent a lifetime waiting for, testing whether his loyalty belonged to the player or the badge. Abraham didn't leak his frustration to the press or hesitate on the pitch. He walked his son to the mountain and prepared to execute the plan to the letter, readying himself for the strike. Seconds before the finish, a last-second VAR intervention from the heavens stopped the clock. The manager blew the whistle, Isaac was saved, and a ram was subbed on to take the hit. The gaffer had never intended to lose the prospect. The command was a stress test to see if the captain would prioritize the manager's vision, even over the franchise's most valuable asset. With the test passed, the dynasty exploded. Isaac, Jacob, David. Generation after generation of superstars emerged from this single moment of compliance. Abraham retired not just as a player, but as the father of the franchise. He proved that an eternal legacy is built on the total, unwavering execution of the manager's process.